Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Come on, you know the words, we all do. But what if I told you that cheerful, yellow, porous little guy we all grew up with? What if his world is built on a foundation of something truly unsettling? Today, we're not just visiting Bikini Bottom. We're going to peel back the bright, colorful layers to see the darkness that might be festering underneath.
I mean, really think about that question. What if everything we know about it is just a facade? For years, fans have been connecting dots we never saw, piecing together some seriously dark theories that turn this kid's cartoon on its head. And these aren't just silly what-ifs. These are detailed, elaborate ideas that make you question everything. So let's dive in, shall we? We'll start with the very ground the town is built on.
So, Section 1, a world born from ruin. Sounds pretty dramatic, right? Well, there's a good reason. Our journey into this rabbit hole doesn't start with SpongeBob or Patrick or Mr. Krabs. Nope. It starts with the world itself, because one of the biggest, most believable fan theories suggests that the origin of Bikini Bottom isn't cartoon logic, it's real-world tragedy. And here it is, the nuclear fallout theory. This is probably the one you've heard of, and it is chilling because it connects the show to actual historical events. The theory basically says that the whole world of talking fish, squirrels in diving suits, and sentient sponges isn't just a fantasy. It's a direct, horrifying result of our own actions up on the surface. Let's just break this down for a second. The name, Bikini Bottom, that is not a coincidence. It's said to be located right under the real-life Bikini Atoll in the Pacific Ocean. And what happened at Bikini Atoll? Well, in the 1940s and 50s, the US detonated more than 20 nuclear weapons there. So the theory goes that all that radiation seeped down, mutating the sea life into the walking, talking, patty-flipping characters we know and love. It's a really grim explanation, but you gotta admit, it makes a terrifying amount of sense. Okay, so if the world itself is this irradiated wasteland, what does that say about the creatures living in it? This is where the theories get a lot more personal. They turn inward, suggesting that SpongeBob and his friends aren't just funny characters, they're actually complex, dark allegories for our own biggest flaws. This theory is a classic for a reason. It argues that the 7 main characters are each a perfect representation of one of the 7 deadly sins. And when you look at it, it's hard to unsee. Mr. Krabs isn't just cheap, he is the living embodiment of greed. Plankton's entire existence is defined by his envy of the Krusty Krab. Patrick is the definition of sloth. Squidward is just pure wrath. And even SpongeBob himself gets reframed. His obsessive love of life is seen as lust, not in the romantic sense, but as an insatiable, all-consuming desire. It just fits. A little too well. But what if the allegory isn't a religious one? What if it's psychological? This theory takes a different path, suggesting that the characters aren't personifications of sins, but of different mental health disorders. Their super-exaggerated personalities suddenly stop being funny quirks and start looking a lot more like symptoms. And once you start looking at the show through this lens, everything changes. SpongeBob's extreme emotional swings, his inability to focus, his constant hyperactivity, it mirrors ADHD so closely. And Squidward? Oh, poor Squidward. His complete inability to feel joy, his constant misery and irritability, that's not just him being a grouch, it's a textbook description of depression. Mr. Krabs' total self-obsession and lack of empathy, narcissistic personality disorder. Suddenly you're not watching a comedy anymore, you're watching a group of deeply troubled individuals trying and mostly failing to get by. All right, so we've covered the world and the characters' minds. Now let's go to their stomachs. We're about to tackle the single biggest mystery in Bikini Bottom, the Krabby Patty's secret formula. And let me tell you, the theory behind this one, it's probably the most messed up of them all. This is it, the million-dollar question. It's the entire motivation for the show's main villain. Plankton has spent his whole life trying to get his hands on it. But have you ever stopped to wonder why Mr. Krabs is so ridiculously protective of it? What could possibly be in there that needs to be guarded so intensely? Well, the fan theory has a one-word answer, and it is absolutely bone-chilling. There it is. Just let that sink in for a minute. Crab meat. The theory is that the secret ingredient is crab. And it explains everything. It explains why the Krusty Krab is shaped like a crab trap. It explains why we almost never see any other crabs in town. The secret to Mr. Krabs' wild success is cannibalism.
Think about it. This theory completely reframes Mr. Krabs. He's not the lovable, greedy boss anymore. He is a predator, a monster who is literally serving his own kind to his customers just to make a buck. His obsession with money stops being a funny character flaw and becomes the motive for some seriously heinous crimes.
So, we've gone through a radioactive wasteland, the 7 deadly sins, and cannibalism. You'd think it couldn't possibly get any darker. You'd be wrong. The last theory we're going to look at is by far the most profound and the most heartbreaking. It suggests that everything we've just talked about, none of it matters, because none of it is real. This is the one. This is the theory that takes the entire show and recasts it not as a comedy, but as an absolute tragedy. It says that the bright, vibrant, happy-go-lucky world of Bikini Bottom is nothing but a fiction, a story, made up in the mind of someone trying to cope with a reality that is just unbearable. According to this gut-wrenching idea, SpongeBob isn't a sponge at all. He's a human patient in a mental institution. The whole show, every single episode, is his elaborate delusion. It's his escape, a vibrant, beautiful fantasy that he projects onto what is likely a very bleak, cold, and lonely existence. And when you compare the two realities side by side, man, it's just devastating. All of his friends and neighbors, they're just figments of his imagination to fight off the crushing loneliness. His beloved job at the Krusty Krab? It could just be his mind's way of processing the mundane daily routine of institutional life. And that iconic pineapple under the sea? It might be a colorful reimagining of a sterile padded room. This theory flips everything. The show is no longer a happy escape for us, the viewers. It's a desperate one for its main character. So, in the end, are any of these theories actually true? Almost certainly not. But that's not really the point, is it? The more interesting question is why we do this. Why do we feel this need to dig into our happiest childhood memories and find the darkness hiding there? Are we just overthinking a simple cartoon? Or does it say something deeper about us, a need to find meaning, even if it means shattering a little bit of that innocence? It definitely makes you wonder what else is hiding down there at the bottom of the sea.